now we need something to perhaps combat the tanks. Now, I favour drones mechanics quite heavily. I like drones. Drones work well with me. Let's pick something small and useful. So we're going to have a little box. This is going to be the centre part of our tank. So let's build a quick structural frame which we can base everything off. So that's going to be the chassis base of our tank, and I'm going to put some heavy struts. Let's have a look. Proper heavy struts, because not only do we want this to be as structurally sound as we can make it, but we also want it to be relatively heavy, something that light won't be able to take the cannon being shot, and that's not what we want. So let's strut this up with some heavy, good old heavy struts. Okay, so that's the main frame for the tank. So let's work on our utility wheels. And we don't want plain wheels, we want proper rover type wheels. I've only got a choice of these huge things, which are just too big. The little kind of gear, or we've got these ones, which I think are the best option. Now the question is, do I mount the wheels inside the tank or outside? Will it end up with stability issues? I wonder. Well, it's front towards the enemy. Let's do 2 internal wheels and some stabilizing exterior wheels. Let's put them in the center as well. So yeah, all-wheel terrain. We've got plenty of wheels. So let's work on. Let's have a look. We're gonna need a info drive. Just one will do nicely. Just sneak it in. I do. Okay. This is gonna be quite a big tank, isn't it? Oh, let's have a look. Scale-wise, are we too big? Or are we okay? Where's our turret? That's our turret. It's not too bad. If I was to put the turret just... Yeah, that works, kind of. Let's just spin it around. These are electric wheels, so we need some power generation. So that's what's going to be going on in the back here. So we've got X... And generation and batteries, some batteries. Now let's see if this works, because I don't want to armour it up until we know that the basic frame and chassis works properly. So this is going to... It's not going to be exactly our last line of defence. I mean, there's no such thing as a last line of defence until our actual Kerbal Space Centre gets taken over. But we've got a airplane now that can take out from the air. It's not a particularly fast one, but it's an airplane, at least. Okay, so let's see how she deals. Not too bad. Steering seems to be okay. Seems to cope with the slope okay. turning circle is quite large. And brakes seems relatively stable, which is good. Okay, and yep, seems to have got the slope okay. Even got some air, fantastic. Right, put the brakes back on. Yeah, that seems relatively stable, so straight back to the spaceplane hangar, and let's see if we can start to armour this puppy up. So this is I like my drone controlled tanks. So let's armour up a little bit. Now the wheels do stick up quite a little bit. The wheels do stick up, but hopefully we can. Let's go. Armour, so structural plates. Now we need to be sticking up very slightly, so either that or we have an angle. No, I think we want a flat top, because otherwise adding stuff on is going to be a little bit difficult. Defense Tank Mark 1, save and launch. So let's see if this bad boy will work. Oh, I forgot to put a weapons manager on. Never mind. We'll sort that out in a second. I'm wondering, do I put countermeasures on, like flares, if anybody tries shooting at it with a missile? Like aircraft, or... Yeah, I think I will put flares in it, but let's just see how this drives, because that's the main thing. So just got to wait for the physics to load. There we go. Don't need a throttle. What we do need is to check. Okay, so she's a bit more sluggish, obviously, because she's got quite a lot more armour on. Let's... Okay, so we're coming to the end of the edge of the field, so let's just see how she copes with the slope. How's she coping? Oh! Okay, so she hit... Okay, so the cannon's off, I think. So it's okay, but it smacked a corner, I think, and I think that has... Yeah, that's damaged my turret. So revert flight to... Let's try that again. We may need to raise the clearance, just move the wheels slightly to give a bit more clearance for the armour. Let's have a look at it when it's not fucked. So the turret's fine. I think it was just this tip of this corner here. Okay. Right, let's try that again. And we're going to do it nice and slow and just see what bumps, I think. So we go down okay. There's enough clearance. It's that corner there that might be the problem. So let's just slow the tank down to a tiny speed. Okay, it's going back. That's so slow it's going backwards. Okay, let's see what impacts. Yeah. Yep. I see what's going on there. So once we're off that's a pretty steep slope. So that's... that could be a problem. I'm not sure whether I should just... I can't get rid of that plate because that's a forward-facing angle. Let's just turn my lights on for a second. Do they work? Yes. Okay, so running lights. Electric charge is doing fine. Toggle turrets. Let's have a look. Turret is doing fine. Let's put my brakes on. Brakes fine. Let's see with brakes on and fine. Quite a long flight time. Wait for the reload. There we go, and move. Okay, again, take some time to get its speed up. So let's toggle turrets. And let's just fast forward time and see if it has any trouble on the rough terrain ahead. Ooh. Ah! Oh no! No! Just as I was saying. And of course it lands on its turret. And of course the turret falls off. Yay. Okay. Alright, back to the drawing board, so we need to do something about that corner. just want to check the ground clearance, and then if the forward ground clearance is fine, then all we need to do is make a few small modifications to turn this into a surface-to-air missile type kind of air defense system. All I'll do is just quickly whip off the turret and then put some missiles on top instead. So they're going to be relatively easy to do. So just wait for physics. I'm just going to drive off. Let's check out if the lights still are okay. Do they still... Yeah, they still provide enough light. Still within the armoured compartment. Angled piece there. But now we've got clearance for the front wheels. Front wheels are very slightly more vulnerable, but to be honest, this is quite a low-lying vehicle. For something to get a shot into the body of this, they would have to be even lower, which is not likely. This is deliberately a low, flat, pancake-type tank as opposed to a steep-sided tank with multiple angled, armoured... Oh, look at that. That is perfect. And the back's got tons of clearance. There's no problem with the back with clearance. So we're going to try driving up slope. There we go. And this is the steepest part of the slope, I guess, because it's at the furthest end of the runway. Let's try just going back up again. Everything else seems to be working fine. I like the railings, they add extra texture. So going up at quite a relatively high speed. There we go. And boop, straight back down again. Ah, oh, got a bit of air as well. That's pretty cool. Let's just see. Let's just put her in full sideways just to see if she'll skid to a stop. I really like this tank. This is a pretty cool tank. I like the fact. I really like these angled kind of fish scale plates, which give even better protection against shots coming in. Because any blow or shot skimming across them will bounce from one to the other as opposed to penetrate. So it does have a few weak points. A straight shot in its eye, effectively, in its light, will possibly penetrate the light, penetrate the chassis and start taking out. So that's a potential weak point. But these chassis pieces are almost as tough as the rest of it, and we've got extra thickness on the front. We've got this railing, which is very thin, minimal kind of armor. We've got the thick armor plate, and we've got another armor plate below that reinforcing that corner. So yeah, if you're ever going to shoot one of these tanks, you probably don't want to be in front of it because it's just got such an armored slope there. It's just really cool. And we've got slopes there protecting the wheels, and these outside wheels, they're there for balance. If they get blown off, it doesn't matter. And right behind it is another structural girder piece. So again, they're very tough. The rear point, again, armour is sloped. The rear, to attack the rear, it would be a bit more of a soft target. But to hit it from the front, from pretty much most angles from the front, you're looking at a really hard target with really excellently sloped armour. That lower glacis is weakest point probably because the slope's not as much as on here. Even the front of the turret's nicely sloped. So yeah, we're looking at a decent tank there. I really like that. So there we go. One tank. Vertfly, spaceplane hangar. And then all we need to do for the missiles is put a couple of pylons, structural pylons, just whip that off. There you go. Just go utility. Let's go structural. And we want these modular grid segments, girder segments. And all we do is just angle it upwards like so. Put in a couple like so. Let's have probably have the 50 cals as defensive, and we'll have the missiles as offensive until we run out of missiles, at which point probably swap the 50 cals over to being offensive. So let's get rid of that, and let's fire some missiles. So first of all, wait for physics to load in. There we go. So we've got more weight over the back. They are slightly tilted forward. So let's just point her towards the ocean, stick the brakes on. Yep, that all seems to work fine, nice and stable. Pull out the weapons manager. On the missiles. And test firing. And previous weapon, there we go. Test firing. 3, 2, 1. Off we go. And that's decent. Oh, look at it go. That's pretty good. Look at the curve over. So let's just fire these all off. There you go. We have to provide these kind of launch ramps for the missiles to launch off, because when you let them go, let's try. So it drops down, sits on the ramp, and then basically goes off. And it won't detonate until it's left the vehicle. So it drops down, sits on the ramp, off we go. And just checking that the... You can see them just going off into the distance. Once they get to about 5 kilometers out, we lose them. They just stop working. They're just going to eventually just fall to the floor. Let's see if we can flick to one. So it's just heading off. It's got a decent range on it though. We've got 11, 12, 13 kilometers. 14 kilometers. So still going past the speed of, yep, just slowing down there really quickly. Well, that's a massively long range. Wow. I wonder how far. I'm really interested to see how far this goes. Is it a viable just form of point and click ordnance kind of bombarding? And you can see the other missiles just coming up and over on very slightly different trajectories, of course, because there's very slight differences in the launcher angle. Even if you fire them all in one go, the actual vehicle would rock backwards or forwards. Wow, just look at this as it comes in again. There's nothing controlling it, it's just a dart pointing at the ground now. Might be hitting the coast. Look at that distance though, that's huge. The distance is massive. Let's get some serious airtime as well, jeez. And sploosh. So let's fire off these last two. So that one's not okay. So now we've got ourselves ready for any kind of war or land war that the Northern Coalition could throw at us. We've got a mainline tank, we've got a mainline missile battery, we've got a heavy bomber airplane which should be able to take out a large number of enemy forces from outside of the range that they can deal with. So that's it. That's my little laid back kind of development, just faffing around, just trying to build some cool stuff for use in the series. And then we're just going to have to see what Criax Industries actually gets up to in the once the game save file is actually passed to me. Currently the other players have it, and once it is passed back to me, we'll just have to see what the Northern Coalition has done, as it's been Northern Coalition's turn before mine. And we're just going to see, is the Northern Coalition, again, is they double bluffing us? That's the big question. Is this land war yet another double bluff? Just like perhaps the war in space was a bluff to get us to focus on space, and then they built up their forces on the ground, which they've done. Or is the build up on forces on the ground a bluff to take our eyes off the ball in space and see if we can be distracted by a land war? But either way, we're ideally suited. We've got the assault launcher with all the little drones that we fixed, and we've got 2 varieties of tank. I can't imagine that for the moment I'll need anything else, and I can quite happily just make stuff up on the fly. Just quickly modify this for anything as necessary. We can modify it to become a troop carrier. I can put seats on top of that and more slightly higher armor panels to protect them. So we can have a troop carriers. We can have we can even have them as modified fuel carriers if we add small fuel tanks on here and then again box them in. So I think this is going to be quite an adaptable design, but for the moment I really like this kind of sloped armor. It's really cool. I'm almost tempted to like put an air intake to make it look like it's got a driver, but there's just another thing for them to shoot. So that's fine. We've got drones. It's got sensors on it. It's got lights. It's fine. I think this is going to be a good tank. Alright, well thank you very much for watching everybody. If you've enjoyed this episode, feel free to hit that thumbs up button, and if you've not subscribed, if you go and click that subscribe button, you're going to get a whole load of extra content, KSP related and otherwise, that's going to be dropped into your inbox. So in the meantime, stay safe guys, have fun, and see you next time. Bye now.